Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Hollywood After Dark. Today is the 30th of March, 2022. Almost at the end of the month, and what a month it has been. What a day it has been. We've had our ups, we've had our downs. We're going to be talking about Will Smith potentially getting blacklisted from the Oscars. We're talking about Bruce Willis tragically retiring from acting, and Affleck returning. I don't know what the hell is going on, folks. It's all up, it's all down. Cats and dogs living together. Mass fucking hysteria. It's Hollywood After Dark. Let's go. Howdy, 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 ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. I hope everyone out there is having a fantastic day. I'm happy because it's warmer. It is officially shorts and flip-flops weather here in the Northwest. What I mean by that is it's not like all the time, every day, all day, Southern California style, but it's getting nicer, which means that a lot of people here are getting nicer. I'm not lying, right? There's sun, so the seasonal effectiveness disorder is kind of lifting. Spirits are rising. People are feeling better about the world. And then the worst part about it is they're going out and eating when they should be staying at home because they're still in a pandemic. And then that's my job. A little bit, it's been slow. What can I say? It's been a little on the slow side. But I'll tell you what's not slow. What's not slow is movies. Right. We're talking about a bunch of different stuff tonight. We have some controversial stuff to cover. We got some other things to talk about. And of course, it's a wild ride. I'm definitely like 100% not too sure what's going on anymore. And you know, and I've been hyperbolic about a few things, obviously. But still, I think it's kind of funny. So why don't we take a quick look here at the chat and see what is going on. Tony here says, greetings, HWAD Squad. I see Anthony Belcher there with the popcorn bucket. That's right, Anthony. Let's see. Donovan here says, I think the Academy is lying about asking Smith to leave because in the video, no one saw anyone personally talk to him. Yeah, we will be talking about that as well. There's a lot there. I see Darth Scipio is here. Miguel, what is going on? Lord Spherical Man, Geek Studios, Kevin Wagner. See him, Skywalker Brian. I see him here. What's going on? Queen Olga, what's going on? Hunter. H-Barts, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're having a good day today. So I did put out the link to my usual cohorts, but they may not be jumping on, and that's all right. Let's see. Darth Scipio here asks, how close am I to La Center, Washington, about 30 miles north of Vancouver? I'd be about 70, 80 miles away from that. So, you know. There we go. Shiny. Sorry, buddy. I didn't see you, Shiny. How's it going there? Oh, yeah, that's right. Moon Knight. Geek Studios here says Moon Knight surprised at the Adventures Campus already. That's right. Skywalker Brian already told me about that. Holy fucking shit, you guys. I wasn't going to watch the Moon Knight thing last night. I wasn't going to watch it. I was going to go to bed. Right. Try to get a good night's sleep. I was a little wired after the show. I had to calm down. I had to wind down. So I got into bed and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to watch it, right? I'm just going to watch Moon Knight. And holy God, that shit was awesome. I didn't know what to expect. I know nothing of the character, but the way that they put it together, it was legitimately funny. It was legitimately intense. It was legitimately thrilling. This feels like, I mean, there was some spotty CG here and there. And I didn't quite care for the shaky cam, if I'm being honest with you. But, other than that, it felt like a movie. It felt like a movie. It felt like a Marvel movie. It completely tonally different, but it felt like it, and that's the key. Unlike Morbius, which is currently rocking like 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. That was going to be one of the stories I covered tonight. Maybe tomorrow we'll go through the reviews. Talk about the reviews tomorrow night and whatnot. Because I was compiling information on that. I was compiling information on a bunch of other stuff. And then these things kind of just, how certain stories kind of come together. There's a certain thing I want to talk about in line with some of the drama from last night where a particular troll got BTFO'd, in my opinion. But I wanted to give it the time. I wanted to give it adequate time, and I was running low today on time. Mostly because I was editing other stuff. So one of the true crime cases I follow that I do I cover on TikTok and everything else, had a tragic end. A missing girl from a couple weeks ago. They found her yesterday, confirmed it was her. That's Rip Naomi Irian out of Nevada. Tragic story. So yeah, that's kind of what I was working on a little bit tonight. That's one of the reasons why I was like, so there's that one. Yeah, Reed here says, even Chris from 3C Films didn't like Morbius. He's pretty optimistic with movies. Yeah, I saw his tweet. Skywalker Brian here says, Chapek isn't going to make it as CEO. That's what the THR is reporting. I mean, I believe at some point, yeah, like he's got 11 months left on his contract. I saw the stuff you sent me today. I just couldn't fit it into the show. Maybe tomorrow if I can. It all depends on what's going on. Some things are just going to kind of like slip through the cracks, so to speak, just because of time. Because I'm also trying to like cut out the segments for people who aren't going to sit through a 2-hour show or a 1.5 hour long show. So clip those out for people in the morning and they can come and they can listen. Surprisingly, this is funny. I clipped out the 3 segments from last night. I uploaded them today. The view counts weren't stellar or nothing like that, but the view count for the live show still went up to normal numbers. So that made me feel pretty good. Hold on here. Mad1306 says, Grace liked Morbius, but she gave Moon Knight a rotten review? She liked Morbius, but she gave Moon Knight a rotten review? Now, granted, I haven't seen episodes 2 through 4 like people in the Access Media crowd. I'm not quite there yet. Humble little Hollywood After Dark news merchant that I am. I'm not quite at that point. However, still based upon what we saw in the pilot episode, my God, Donovan here. Grace is compromised. Maybe, buddy. Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to speak for Grace. I'm not trying to, I don't want to throw out. I throw enough shade at Grace. I don't need anything else. Brandon here says, I think Sonic 2 is going to do better than Morbius, and I'm going to see Sonic 2 next week. Dude, fuck yeah, me too. I'm definitely going to see Sonic next week. There's that fan event that's happening on like Tuesday or whatever, and it's like 40 miles away. I'm like, if it was down the road, it'd be a different story. But it's like 40 miles. Like, I'll just wait 2 days. Gas is $4 a gallon right now. I had to spend $500 today to put new tires on my car. So I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to hang out locally. So if it's a local thing, I'll go see it. I'm not going to drive 80 miles round trip just to see Sonic 2 days early. Despite that. Anyway, hold on here. Jess says, well, having Saggy, Kate, and RJ makes the show interesting. Are you saying I'm not interesting? Oh, come on, Jess. Are you saying I'm not interesting? I understand having people to bounce off is a good thing. Saggy says she went to bed early, because she's creeping up on 40. I turned 40, but I have the energy of a 19-year-old at night. She's creeping up on 40. She's gonna, can't wake up Saggy. Everyone be real quiet. We can't wake up Saggy. Anyway, so there's that one, right? And I do see that that Fantastic Beasts 3 is getting solid reviews. I did see that it was getting solid responses coming out of the premiere in the UK yesterday. Very surprised considering the last one, but from what I was reading, from what I was seeing about that, it had a lot to do with like they finally like kind of caught on to like what made the franchise tick, and they really kind of went back and fixed a lot of the issues from the last couple of films, which, listen, has a lot to do with Stephen Kloves, who co-wrote it. He also wrote all the other Harry Potter movies, so he understands the world and the world building and the lore and the mythology and the characters. I would say, like, as much as J.K. Rowling does, if not even slightly more, because he's had to adapt them and he's had to really get in their heads and figure out a way to make them tick. So bringing him on as a co-writer to fix the 2 shit scripts that Rowling had thrown her weight around to get done, that's definitely very interesting. So there's that. Let's see. Music Man here says, Matt, you're always interesting. Dirty humor and good conversation and movie talk. Couldn't ask for more. I know, man. No, I like having people to bounce things off of, which, by the way, fuckers, I say that lovingly and gently. and serenading it, kind of, you fuckers. Call in, voicemail. Look right there, 323-305-4101. All right, before we dive into the first story, I got to get through the shilling, guys. That's how this works. I got to get through the shilling. So as always, patio commentary, man. I've been really thinking hard about what I want to cover this week. This is my movie discussion show. This is just 30, 45 minutes, me talking about a movie, going through what I like about it, what I don't like about it, maybe some of the history, some of the trivia, just having a conversation, just to put on and listen to. If you want to just kind of listen to someone chat about a movie you may not know about or you may know about, of course, that's going to be that youtube.com/patio commentary. You can get it anywhere you get your podcast, iTunes, Google, Stitcher, Spotify. I think there's Pocket Cast. There's a couple places, Anchor. But this last week, I did talk about The Adam Project, which is a film I really liked. And by the way, I mentioned this last night. Ryan Reynolds has been number one with this movie on Netflix. Turns out not only that, but Six Underground and I think another Ryan Reynolds movie popped up in the top 10 on Netflix. So right now it's Ryan Reynolds Palooza happening on Netflix. But if you haven't seen The Adam Project, it's good. I recommend it. Check it out. And if you guys really like this kind of stuff and you guys want me to do more of a live conversation where we talk about it as well after the fact, we could totally do that too. I always enjoy that kind of stuff. Anyway, and then, because, Ricky Crude here says mundane shill. That's right, sir. Patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. Great way to support the channel. Great way to support the show. If you like what I do here, if I bring you guys comedy or interesting conversations or things like that, patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. Join in on the HWAD Squad. Join Halloween Hollywood After Dark Premium, which is just joining the Patreon and becoming a channel member here on YouTube. As little as $2 a month gets you access to, believe it or not, Hollywood After Dark. After Dark, folks. It's a real thing. It's a real after show. We do a couple times a week. It's just a low-key hangout, chill, just talk about whatever. Mostly talks about movies still, but you know what? We can watch some fan films in there. There's a Cad Bane fan film I just found out about. There's a whole bunch of Friday the 13th Jason fan films I didn't know about. There's a Black Christmas fan film. There's a lot of stuff to watch, which, to get around that pesky copyright, we got to do that at a bit of a secret location. Of course, that's going to be Hollywood After Dark. After Dark, you guys know the drill. Patreon or become a channel member. And that being said, again, like I have right here scrolling on the screen, call in the voicemail line. I'll get to those at the end of the news segments. That's 323-305-4101, 323-305-4101. Okay, cool. We're done. There we go. All right, let's see here. I try to bust through it. All right. I try to boost to get through. That's how I have to do this kind of stuff, because I don't want you guys to think that all I do is shill products. I want to get into the nitty gritty. I want to dive into it. And, to cover last night, what we talked about last night, a little bit more information popped up. And that is Ezra Miller is having a bad time. All right. Ezra Miller is having a bad time, to the point where there's almost no way that he'll be able to, I think, really come back from this. Right. So just to kind of recap things for those of you guys who haven't been paying attention, what happened over the course of the weekend was we found out that Ezra Miller was arrested for disorderly conduct and harassment for a bar incident in Hilo, Hawaii, where he apparently lunged at a woman who was singing Shallows at the bar. All right. And listen, that's a good song by Lady Gaga. I do feel that Scooby and Shaggy performing it in the Scoob animated movie was a slightly better take on it, but still, I would butcher it, right? Because what is it? In the shallow, lallows. I can't do it right. I'm not Lady Gaga. I can't hit that deep. I can't do it. It's just not for me. But then we find out that he gets arrested. He gets out on bail for $500, easily post bail. The dude's a millionaire. All right. Ends up going back to the house of this couple that he met at a farmer's market. And then in the process of that evening, something goes down and he threatens to hurt them, to harm them, saying, and I quote, I'm kind of paraphrasing, "I'll bury you and your slut of a wife." Paraphrasing, that's basically what they put in their particular petition for a restraining order. And then, of course, today we find out through the grapevine here, through the reporting of TMZ, that apparently before. Okay, so two things, right? So this screenshot right here says, the cops are called for other bar incidents weeks before the karaoke arrest. This happened in Chinatown in Los Angeles, where Ezra Miller was at one bar, got, I think, denied service at one bar, and then went across the street to another bar where they were also denied service. And as a result of being denied service there was an altercation, in which case the LAPD had to show up and they basically got Ezra Miller to leave. This was leading up to them going to Hawaii. Then we found out that in the process of Ezra being in Hawaii, before the bar incident where he was arrested, the police were called 10 other times on Ezra Miller. 10 other damn times on Ezra. So, I mean, like, look, man, there are people out there in this sphere that say things like, I know Ezra. I've talked to Ezra. I know what's in his heart. And he's a good man. He's fucked up, man. And I think at this point in time, if you're still running on that narrative, you may want to reconsider some of the things you're out there saying to people, because, clearly Ezra Miller has got problems. Clearly Ezra Miller has got a number of issues in the moment that needs help, right? I mean, not only did Ezra choke out that lady in Iceland a couple of years ago, all right, but there was the incident at the bar, the 10 other police altercations that happened before the bar, the restraining order, this incident in LA, in Chinatown. There's a pattern here of behavior. Never mind the weird ass KKK incident. All right. Where he called themselves the Mad Goose Wizard, which I'm not going to lie, is kind of an awesome name. I actually really like that. But there's something here going on with Ezra. And a lot of people out there, I think, are starting to pick up on this. And so what does this mean? Well, this is a PR rep's worst goddamn nightmare. This is a PR rep's worst goddamn nightmare. And on that front, who knows what's going to happen with Ezra, right? But I've seen people out there making the claim. I saw them making the claim last night, and this really bothered me, that Ezra did nothing wrong, and that the people who filed the restraining order, the couple that filed the restraining order, had scammed Ezra. This is what I was hearing last night, by the way. This is what I was hearing on another live stream after I was done. I was sent clips. I was very baffled by the conversation. Very, very, very baffled by the conversation. People people who stand with Ray Fisher were really keen to throw this couple under the bus. Never mind the litany of evidence that supports the fact that Ezra has got a violent outburst problem and possibly a substance abuse problem. But hey, listen, guys, listen. None of that matters when you're trying to get him on a live stream. You know what I mean? None of that matters when you're trying to get him on a live stream. However, I think at this point in time, it's probably best for Warner Brothers PR to pull Ezra aside by the ear, throw their ass into rehab, and not let them out until the Flash reshoots here in a few months. So there's that. Shrek is daddy, $5, man. Thank you. Says, I didn't even read this. I clicked on it. I wonder if that clown Enoch still wants Ezra women beater Miller on his streams. Lol. Ezra is done with Warner Brothers after Flash XD. I don't know, man. I don't know if Enoch does want him on there. I'm sure he does, because it's clout and that's what he's into. And that's the whole point, is just, when you've got all of this overwhelming evidence suggesting one thing and your immediate response is, I don't know if I believe that. It's a bit of a bad take. We'll have to see if that changes. Look, people get bad information all the time. They might run with it a different way, but you know what? Listen, if accountability over entertainment means anything, then you know what to do. And then Jess here for $5, thank you, says, Ezra is going crazy yet people continue to talk about Will and Chris. Well, because that situation is still crazy. All right. That situation is still pretty nuts. And it's something that's ongoing, and the ramifications of that are going to be big. Now, talking about ramifications here, Protoss brings up a good point. Why is Johnny Depp gone and Ezra gets to be a star? Well, in the case of Johnny Depp, there was the accusations by Amber Heard. There was, years ago, there was substantiated video proof of Johnny being drunkenly aggressive around her, and her being able to use that as basically a cudgel to break away from him and get people on her side using the Me Too movement. That's the whole point of this entire freaking series of lawsuits that Johnny has put out there, is because she basically was not supposed to talk about him due to their divorce settlement, and she still talked about him, and he's trying to fight for his name. And the thing with that is, though, is a lot of people have come out and supported supported Johnny and supported everything. But Warner Brothers was waiting for I think Warner Brothers was down to the wire, if you want my honest opinion. I think they were waiting for the first case, the libel suit against the son, to go a certain way. If he won, they would be able to maybe argue keeping him around, but he definitely he definitely did that. Well, now Queen Olga here says Johnny has been declared in court a woman beater. That's why. Effectively, yes. By losing that son battle, by losing that defamation case against the son, it's effectively, labeling it that they did. They labeled him a wife beater. That is basically why. And yeah, Queen Olga there is correct. And that's unfortunate. And so as a result of that, they had to make an act out of it. And that's unfortunately where things are. I hear Mads Mikkelsen is quite good in Fantastic Beasts 3. That's what people were saying online. So, I mean, that's the key thing I want to see when it comes to that movie. Nothing else really catches my interest about it, but I want to see how Mads Mikkelsen's going to do, because I love him as an actor, and, but I would have loved to have seen Johnny Depp. Now, Anthony here asks, didn't Warner Brothers pay Depp? They did. They did pay him off. They absolutely paid him off, and he probably needed it for legal battle, to be fair. So there's a lot of stuff there. Let's see here. Rational says, Matt, if you were the head of Warner's, would you fire Ezra for Fantastic Beasts and future DC films, or would you let him go to rehab and recover from the problems? I would send Ezra to rehab. I think Ezra, if you want my honest opinion, has been coddled a little bit too much. I think Ezra is very eccentric, and I think that has been, and I don't have a problem with eccentricism. I don't. But I think, like, in this particular case, it's kind of like Shia LaBeouf. Shia was a child star who went insane. He's figuring his shit out now, but he went through a period in time when he was going nuts. And of course, he gave us the greatest game of Capture the Flag ever. So I don't really fault Shia, because those were art projects, right? Those were art installations that was meant to be like, an art exhibit sort of thing. There was an expressive nature to what Shia was doing. Ezra is just getting hammered. So yes, I would say send them to rehab and let them get the help that they need, and then see from there. But I honestly, I think Ezra is too big of a problem, too big of a liability, and Warner's is probably kicking themselves in the ass because they've been backing this person, since Zach hired them way back in like 2015. So, all I'm saying on that is, when we talk about like Zack Snyder coming back, that's a headache. They're going to look at his casting choices and see that. Never mind Henry Cavill and that whole situation with that. And Affleck isn't he? And Ray Fisher. I mean, there's problematic casting in regards to the company when it comes to Zack Snyder. So I don't know about that one there, but we'll have to wait and see. HWAD is asking, did they explain his change from Johnny to Mads? I have no idea. I have no freaking idea. HWAD also says Zach should have hired Grant Gustin. He truly represents the Flash. Well, I think a lot of people want that, to be fair. See, Rodney says, give him the rehab option first. Surprisingly, Ezra doesn't have any onset issues. No, I haven't heard anything like bad about them. So that's kind of the whole point. Salty Snacks asking, is Ezra's career done? I don't believe that Ezra's career is done. So there's that here. HBarts, I see your super chat. We're going to get to that towards the end, by the way. That is something that is going to be popping up in the final segment of the show. McLeod here asking, what happened with Henry Cavill, or do you mean that he's just busier with other stuff? Well, okay. To quickly recap on that. Back in the summer of 2018, news broke that Henry Cavill was no longer Superman. And that was big. That was a big thing. That was a huge problem. A lot of people freaked out. There was all these reports about like, he's out, he's difficult to work with, yada, yada, yada. I've never heard anyone say anything unkind about Henry Cavill in any capacity. So I don't believe any of that. But then there was that mysterious Instagram video he put out where he just holds up the doll of Superman without saying anything, and people interpreted that to mean he's still Superman. And then, but we're like, okay, well, his agent is Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia co-runs $7 Productions with The Rock, who she also represents, who's playing Black Adam. I mean, look, there's a whole bit of stuff here. And so the idea is that Henry is out, and I've said that I think has a lot to do with poor management is what I think it has to do. So that's my take on this one. I would hope that I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I love Affleck as Batman. I like Ezra as the Flash well enough. I prefer Grant Gustin. Love Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Gal is Wonder Woman. Ray is Cyborg. Great casting in my mind. I even like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, for crying out loud. And Jeremy Irons as Alfred is the shit. Good casting. I have no problem with the casting. But the casting has been problematic for the studio. They really have. Gal and Jason have been real team players. They've been real team players because they're trying to hold on to their cash cows because their franchises have actually had a chance to grow and thrive, whereas the other ones have not, for a multitude of reasons. H. Bart's here says, I blame Danny, meaning Danny Garcia, if Henry's deal fall through. I completely agree. And then Donovan here says, Henry is busy with The Witcher. Argyle's rumors to be a trilogy. Well, I heard he's only going to be in Argyle now for like a cameo. But when they were talking about the casting in Argyle, they put Henry Cavill up top, and that leads you to believe, it could be alphabetical, but it leads you to believe that Henry Cavill is the lead in the movie. So I know it's already been shot. Apple already dropped $200 million on it. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, why don't we move on? We get to the next topic here. I want to start off tonight by really talking about Bruce Willis because today's news about Bruce really bummed me out. And I'm not saying that to be like hyperbolic or whatever. And it really did. I've been really upset when I learned about this news today that if you don't know, Bruce Willis is stepping away from acting following an aphasia diagnosis. It's not that he's necessarily stepping away from acting. He is retiring. This is not something you come back from, which we'll talk more about here in a second. This is a tough one because, the dude is 67 years old. He has been a staple in action movie cinema, for, well over 30 years. He is a beloved actor, even though he has chosen some very subpar roles, I believe, since 2013. And it's still sad. So Demi Moore put out a post today. This was also copied, I think, by like Rumor Willis and other people as well. But she says here, to Bruce's amazing supporters, as a family, we wanted to share that our beloved Bruce has been experiencing some health issues and has recently been diagnosed with aphasia, which is impacting his cognitive abilities. As a result of this, and with much consideration, Bruce is stepping away from the career that has meant so much to him. This is a really challenging time for our family, and we are so appreciative of your continued love, compassion, and support. We are moving through this as a strong family unit. We wanted to bring his fans in because we know how much he means to you, as you do to him. As Bruce always says, live it up. And together we plan to do just that. Love, Emma, Demi, Rumor, Scout, Tallulah, Mabel, and Evelyn. And I didn't know what aphasia was at first. I knew that it was a cognitive thing. And, it's like, oh, he's retiring. Yeah, this is, he'll get help. He's got money. He'll get treatment. This is what aphasia is. It's a condition that robs you of the ability to communicate. It can affect your ability to speak, write, and understand language, both verbal and written. Aphasia typically occurs suddenly after a stroke or a head injury, but it can also come on gradually from a slow-growing brain tumor or a disease that causes progressive, permanent damage. The severity of aphasia depends on a number of conditions, including the cause and extent of the brain damage. Once the cause has been addressed, the main treatment for aphasia is speech and language therapy. The person with aphasia learns and practices language skills and learns to use other ways to communicate. Family members often participate in the process, helping the person communicate. It is not curable. It is treatable, hopefully livable, but it's not curable. So I don't know at the end of the day what's going to happen with Bruce. You know, I know I talk. That's my thing, right? That's my gift, the gift of gab, and I fear of like Alzheimer's or dementia or something like this. I fear that I'll fall and I'll hit my head and it will cause a problem. You know, I'll lose my ability to talk and my ability to communicate, which is how I express myself. It's how I make a living. I understand that. I'm not trying to like bring the stream down. This is something that like has been on my mind all goddamn day. I've been a big Bruce Willis fan, even before Die Hard, man, when I saw like Blind Date and I saw Moonlighting, I was a fan of Bruce Willis. And of course, Look Who's Talking and everything else that came out in the 90s and 2000s. The Fifth Element, I think, is still one of his best films. He hasn't headlined a movie, like a big blockbuster film, really like on his own since 2013's or 2012's, I think, Live Free or Die Hard. No, that was A Good Day to Die Hard, which is the utter worst of the franchise. And then he did Glass a few years ago, which was good to see him reunite with Sam Jackson and M. Night Shyamalan and stuff. The sad thing is that, eventually, like, these things happen sometimes, and there's not much there's nothing we're able to do outside of send our support and extend our love. And of course, this has got a lot of people talking about the sheer amount of straight to DVD films he did. Because he did a bunch of straight to DVD films for a while. There was a new one, I think it's like Shadow War or something like that. I just saw it at Redbox, or I don't know, maybe it was at Walmart. It just came out. There's one he just did with Megan Fox where they're like FBI agents. And it's like, it's so weird to look at like Bruce Willis and go, God damn, man, you were headlining movies less than a decade ago. And you have so many good movies to your name. And then you all of a sudden like find yourself doing these, schlocky films. And it's not like Nick Cage, where Nick Cage embraced the weird and that helped rebuild his career, helped rebuild his image. Bruce Willis just kind of like, I don't want to say phoned it in. I don't think he phoned it in, but he took roles that were like not really risky and didn't have fun with it. I feel like there were some movies where he did, like Lucky Number 11. I thought he did really good in Lucky Number 11. I love that one quite a bit. There's one I saw back around that same time called Assassination of a High School President, where he played the high school principal. And there's a line where he's talking to kind of like the local, like, the more promiscuous student. And she makes a comment to him and he goes like, what, do I come down to the strip club and knock the dick out of your mouth? Like, or whatever, like the strip club where you work and knock the dick out of your mouth. And just the way he says it was totally a Bruce Willis-ism, but it was still funny, So maybe we'll get lucky and he'll be able to treat this and be able to do something like Over the Hedge or Look Who's Talking, where he can provide a voice role. Maybe in one of the upcoming Beavis and Butthead episodes, he'll be able to reprise his role as Dallas. I don't know. I am, look, I think, he's got his own, H-Bart's here. This is true. This gives you a kind of an idea that Bruce Willis had his own Razzie section this year. He did. He competed against himself. He competed against himself. And there's that. Hold on here. Skywalker Brian says, wait, Pulp Fiction made his career big? I mean, look, man, no. You're thinking of John Travolta. Travolta is the one that came out of Pulp Fiction and whose career was resuscitated. There was never, Bruce Willis was in the movie and he was great in the movie, but it was John Travolta who's the one that really walked away a winner overall. There was nothing wrong with Willis's career back in 1994. So, but anyway, yeah, boy, I completely agree with you here. Well wishes to him and his family. Completely agree. I absolutely agree. Anthony here says, hopefully he doesn't have money issues because he was doing a lot of movies these last 5 years. I looked at his filmography and he hasn't done less than 4 movies a year in a decade. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't know what happened to Bruce Willis, man. I really, I don't know. Let's see. Doesn't Bruce do like $5 million movies now? I mean, look, the thing is, yeah, he does. And he comes on in and he does maybe a day or two on set, on location, whatever. They pay him however many thousands he wants and he goes home. Laser Luke here says, so is he really retiring? I mean, for right now, he is. He's gonna start losing cognitive function. He's going to stop being able to talk and having trouble communicating. And he's got to relearn how to talk, relearn how to communicate. And that's going to be the next step. So all we can do as fans is just wish him well, wish him a bunch of love, and hope for the best. Let me get a quick drink here. All right. Let me just talk about some Will Smith shit. Oh, boy. Will Smith, folks. Will Smith. I mean, as if we haven't talked about this shit show enough. But here's the thing, guys. We got to talk more about it because now we're finally, a couple days later, after the dust is settled and after people have, looked at the backlash online and after they've seen all of the mobs attempting to go out there and cancel anyone who is critical of Will Smith and his actions, because there's been a fair amount. We looked at that yesterday. And there's been an update on that one too, but I'll talk about that later, so I just don't have the graphics handy. And the reality of it is that Will Smith was going to be facing some form of punishment. We just didn't know what it was. It felt like the Academy just kind of rolled over and exposed their belly. They didn't want to upset the show. Well, it looks like there might be more to the story. So according to Variety here, the Academy has started disciplinary proceedings against Will Smith, and apparently expulsion is on the table. And that is something that I've talked about. I've said ban him, right? Ban him for life. And I stand by that. I love the guy. I love his movies. I can't wait to see what he does next. But I believe with his actions, he lost that privilege. 100% lost that privilege. But let's find out more. Days after Will Smith slapped Chris Rock during the 94th Oscars telecast on Sunday, the Board of Governors held an emergency meeting to discuss the consequences for the Best Actor winner. He now faces suspension, expulsion, or other sanctions permitted. The statement from the Academy is highly damning, citing the standards of conduct and Smith's violations of inappropriate physical contact, abusive or threatening behavior, and compromising the integrity of the Academy. As if there was fucking integrity in the Academy. We already know this bullshit anyway, guys. Smith, who won the Oscar for the Best Actor for King Richard not long after the slap, has been given 15 days notice of a vote regarding his violations and sanctions and has the opportunity to provide a written response. The next board meeting is scheduled for April 18th when the Academy may take disciplinary action. If they fucking don't take disciplinary action, it's going to be bad, right? But here's the thing with that. The disciplinary action that they're going to take, I think we all pretty much know it's going to be very, 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 very not much. You know what I mean? It's going to be very not much. It's just going to be a slap on the wrist is what they're going to do. Right? Murdoch here says this is fair if he's banned forever. 100%. Right? Yeah, 100%. Should Jada be banned? Jada didn't do anything. And that's also part of the fucking problem, H-Barts. Right? That's the thing I want to know. I want to see that footage. I want to see the other side of that footage. I want to see the look she gave him. I want to see what she motioned for him to do, if at all. Right? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I want to see what happened with Jada, and a lot of people do, because she finally spoke up today, and believe me, it's tone deaf as you might think. But anyway, here's where it gets a little crazy. Here's where we get a little bit more information, something you didn't quite realize. One notable new bit of information is the Academy stating that they asked Will Smith to leave the Dolby Theater, but Smith refused. One of the biggest bits of scrutiny regarding the handling of the moment was Smith not being removed from the auditorium. The Academy has offered clarification, saying Smith was asked to leave but refused. saying we also recognize that we could have handled the situation differently. Really? So you got a guy, right? One of the biggest actors in the world, doesn't matter, goes up, smacks another dude. We've all seen it. Lord knows we've watched it enough here on this particular channel. And someone then says, hey, you need to go. And he sits down and goes, no, I'm not leaving. And people are still defending this guy over this. Right? Now I see here, Laser Luke here says, at least he apologized and made some mistakes. You know, all right. But he refused to leave, dude. And then he accepted the award and he put out a bullshit 5-minute thing, right? His little like, oh, I'm a vessel of love nonsense. And then went off and partied and had the night of his life. And then the next day apologized. I'm not against the apology. It was a solid apology. But my point is that in the actions immediately following, no one else took accountability for what they have to do. All right. That's kind of the whole point. Now, I do agree with Donovan here about the Academy. I think the Academy is lying. Absolutely. I think the Academy is lying. It makes sense for them to lie. It's not going to do them any damn favors. All right. It's not going to do them any damn favors whatsoever. But here's something that I just came across tonight. And I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but I came across a video of Chris Rock immediately following the incident. And I want you guys to just see the expression on his face during this time. You know, look at him. He's shocked. That's a shocked face. That's doesn't know what to do, right? Doesn't know what to do. Just kind of chilling, just trying to, you know, keep his composure. But you can see he's got that 1,000-yard stare going on. He's just trying to like figure it out. He's not making eye contact really. You know, I mean, not with the camera at least. He's looking every other way. He's just trying to process it through his brain. What just happened? You know? And of course, like that's the bullshit thing with that. Like, we'll just watch it again. He's just trying to figure it out. You know, like, oh, okay, like what's going on? What do I do? What happened? Oh my God. And you know, that makes me like, I haven't seen this yet until tonight. And that makes me feel really bad for him because it's like, again, he's just got slapped the shit out of in live TV and he could have fought back. He could have made a comment about, you know, how Will gets mad in March, but I'm sure he's crying in August, or I should say when August isn't Jada, because that was the guy who he signed off on her having a relationship with that, like what was like living under the roof or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? And like, that's the whole point is like, they disrespected him. They asked him, you know, they disrespected Rock. They asked Will Smith to leave. Will refused, and they didn't shut the show down and kick him out. Right now, Salty Snacks here says it's live. The show must continue. On that note, man, the producer in me completely agrees. But every one of those after parties should have booted his ass the fuck out, dude. Everyone should have done something, but they didn't. See, Anthony here says, I don't think Jarbo really agrees with this. He's just doing it for the hot take thing. No, I absolutely agree. I think the harshest possible punishment is what should be enacted here. And that's not a hyperbolic hot take. I legitimately, fervently believe that. And this, again, saying this as a person who I like, but this is because this was such a blatant, disrespectful act that embarrassed not only Chris Rock, but Will Smith, everyone who was there, everyone who was watching, every movie fan out there, anyone who loves the industry and the art of making movies. And you think you just kind of wave it away? Like, I don't understand your take here, man. Like, I don't understand your take here. You know, you sit there and say, oh, you have literal rapists who aren't banned. Well, I mean, Harvey Weinstein's banned. You know what I mean? Like, Kevin Spacey isn't going, you know, even though Kevin Spacey has only been accused, never convicted of anything. You know, this isn't a little bit, again, I think your comprehension, you know, Rodney says, oh my God, you're making it seem like Will came on a stage with a gun to Chris. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's not about that at all, man. Like, I love this deflection. I love this justification that comes out about this. Oh, well, he just slapped him, right? No big deal. NBD, you guys. It's fine. It's okay that he slapped him, right? Chris had it coming. Sure, yeah, I made a joke. Absolutely, right, Rodney? Right, Anthony? Made a joke. He has it coming. Said something mean. Deserves to get slapped the shit out of. Right? That's what you guys are trying to tell me? Because that's what it fucking sounds like, is that you guys are trying to argue that it's no big deal. That if we look the other way and we just kind of, he's just, you know what, he was mad, his wife was disrespecting us, no. We have social norms for a reason, and far too long have we ignored social norms. And when you start pulling whataboutism as a way to try to deflect from actually enacting something that could maybe prevent something like this from happening again, because this is such a unique endeavor, a unique situation, it comes across as minimization and that you're justifying the behavior. And that's not okay. I'm sorry, that's not okay. You know, and this is not McLeod. We're not talking about that stuff, buddy. We're not talking about that stuff. All right. Like, you know, we're not talking about race and about this. You got it, man. This is not about that. All right. This is not about that. Like, you bring that shit up, man. You're going to make it like a whole other fucking thing. Rational here says Will Smith is too much of a big star for them to give him any real punishment. And that's unfortunate. That is true. You know, I'm not going over the top. I'm asking for accountability. I'm asking for them to actually do something and to actually make sure this won't happen again. Right. But that's the whole point, is like, it's disturbing the status quo. Let's see here. I think that's a strong sanction. Okay. So Ronaldo here says, I think a strong sanction is necessary, not only because it's unacceptable, but because it will serve him to grow as a person and mature. Damn straight. But they don't want, again, you know, that's the point. Now, here's the thing. HWAD sure makes a great point. Says, I've discussed this with my mom, who is a nurse, even though the slap was light, it could still have knocked Chris out and hit his head. That is a reality as well. You don't know what would have happened. It's a slap. Oh, it's an open palm slap. Well, what if he fell back? What if he hit his head? There are elements of that could have possibly happened, which is why these things aren't allowed to happen. You know? And that's the whole fucking point, is you guys are like really trying to make this about something that it isn't. Yeah, Tales from the Hood TV here says he didn't even apologize to Chris Rock in that speech. It took him a full day after partying the night away with his Oscar, getting all the photo shoots, doing, you know, not doing any press, but going through all the photo shoots after the fact and getting through all the rigmarole and all that shit. And then the next day, well, I guess I'd better apologize. Anyway. Tony, oh my God. Chris Rock told a joke, but Will Smith delivered the punchline. Oh, dude. That's cray. But it goes on a little bit here. The Academy also offered a formal apology to Chris Rock, the other nominees who attended the ceremony, and the viewers at home and in person who witnessed the event. The letter states, Mr. Rock, we apologize to you for what you experienced on our stage, and thank you for your resilience in that moment. We also apologize to our nominees, guests, and viewers for what transpired during the celebratory event. And yeah, man, that's the whole thing. Is like Chris Rock, he had a bit of a good follow-up from that, I'll be fair. All right. He did talk about it though. He did have his thing. You know, he went out tonight, he performed in Boston, and a lot of people were asking, you know, it says here, he responds to it. He says, I'm still processing what happened. Now here's what happened with that. I've got the video clip of this, and I want you guys to let me know what exactly. Let me see if I could find. Here we go. All right. Yeah, here we go. This is the audio. It might be a little hard to hear. I tried to crank up the volume, but we'll go with it.
How was your weekend? I don't have like a bunch of shit about what happened. So you came to hear that. I had like a whole show I wrote before this weekend. And I'm still kind of processing what happened. Like I'm gonna talk about, it's nice to just be out.
Oh, Richard. Then.
Oh, am I still muted? Sorry, guys. All right. I guess that's that happened there. What I was going to say was somebody put it together. I don't know why I was muted. Somebody put it together. That happened. So there you go. That one there. I don't know why I was muted, but there you guys go. I'll have to fucking fix that in post. God damn it. Anyway, that was that. But here's where it got a little bit on the crazy side. Okay. Cause we finally ended up getting a bit of a response from Jada Pinkett herself, right? She says she finally broke her silence, folks. She finally came out, emerged from the darkness of her $42 million, 150-acre property in Calabasas, California, right? After they had reportedly contacted the sheriff's department to report someone flying a drone over their $43 million, 150-acre property. Okay. So I want to kind of, again, talk about that. She emerges from the shadow. She comes out from the dark, walks into the light, and wants to let people know that it's time for the season for healing. And, there you go with that. But here's what she says. This was simply it. This is it. This is all she posted on her Insta. This is a season for healing, and I'm here for it. Yeah, that sounds about right, don't it? That sounds about pretty decent. That sounds all right. Fine, Jada. It's a season for healing, and I'm here for it. How about the season for fucking apologizing? How about the season for all that shit? Anyway, I'm just saying, right? Now, Tales from the Hood TV here says she broke Will Smith in that red table talk. I think she did, man. I think she did. There's been a lot of people talking about that too. A lot of people bringing up the concept, about that, right? It's like, look, man, I love Will Smith, but like, I always like, he's a sensitive, he's a softy dude. He's a softy guy. That's the whole point, right? He's a softy guy. And I think Jada was always a bit like, yeah. Meanwhile, Jaden said, this is how we do it. Exactly. Matt here says she didn't do nothing. That's the whole point. She saw her man get up. She saw her man walk towards him. At no point did she stand up and yell at him to get back to his seat. At no point did she stand up and say, Will, stop it. At no point, even after he slapped him, did she say anything. At no point after the incident happened and they were in commercial break did she say anything. At no point in time did she say anything, except she puts out a fucking a little, I'm here. It's a season for healing, folks. I'm here for it. Nah, man. There is some grade A enablement that's going on there. And that's going to cost Will his fucking legacy. I'm telling you. It's going to cost him his legacy. Not, again, and I'm not saying like cancel people and whatever. I'm just saying it's like acknowledge your role in this shit. Lack of action or inaction in those kind of situations when you could intervene, there's still, I think, like a small amount of liability, especially in that moment, in that setting, in that context. So something happened. She was clearly okay with it. She was clearly fine with it. Because again, they went off and they did their paparazzi photos and they did their photo shoots and they went out to the club and they partied all night long. They weren't huddling at home trying to figure out how to handle it. They weren't talking to crisis managers. They weren't talking to Chris Rock, apologizing for what happened, hoping he doesn't sue them, for $200 million to take their $43 million property that they have out there. You know what I mean? Like none of that shit. None of that shit. That's what I'm talking. It's all affluency. It's all nonsense. So, anyway, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. I don't quite know. House envy. Dude, I have a 1,500 square foot home on 1.3 acres of property. I'm happy. But I would love also a 150 acre lot in California, man. You know, Anthony here says, Will Smith should be banned for a year. Fuck that, dude. Hold on here. What is the punishment for misdemeanor battery in California? Let's see. Punishable by a fine for the $200 or $2,000 and punishable in a county jail for up to 6 months or by both. So, but I think this is all shot to the credibility, right? This is all shot to the credibility. That's kind of what it is. Again, it doesn't matter if he made fun of her. Anthony, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like literally, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're like every excuse in the book to try to deflect, to try to minimize is what you're trying to do. Every excuse in the book. Like every excuse, man. Like, did you get off on that? Like, that's my question. Did you like watching Will Smith smack Chris Rock? Is that why you're okay with it? Because you seem really fucking okay with it. So, anyway. James here says his SAG membership is in jeopardy because now they're looking into it. See, that's going to be a big thing. If his SAG membership gets revoked, he can't do movies. He can't do movies. You know. Anyway. Why don't we move on to something, I guess, a little bit more crazier, funnier, whatever. Let's talk about fucking Batman. Right? Let's talk about the Batman. Because, like, I don't know what's going on with this, you guys. I honest to God, at this point in time, like, I'm looking to official sources as much as humanly possible. As much as humanly possible, I'm looking to official sources here. Because it's one of those things where I don't know what they're planning on doing. And I don't think anyone really knows what they're planning on doing because they're still 15 months away. But it does feel like there are some things in flux. Or at least there's some kind of confirmation. I got no fucking idea. It's wild. So like I said, yesterday, while we were live, you had Viewer Anon, okay, who does scoop some stuff, mostly test screenings, post this cryptic image, Justice League and canon, which I will fully admit I had to have RJ explain to me because I just didn't see the connection. So great. Zack Snyder's Justice League canon. That's what everybody wants, myself included, right? That's what everybody's down for. That's what everybody fucking wants. All right. And from that, then he also posted this thing that he's since deleted, saying, remember how a few scoopers, including yours truly, said Ben Affleck was definitely 100% no takesy backsies done with the Batman after The Flash. Well, and even Casey Walsh, who we're going to talk about here in a few, in an article, even he admitted taking the L. Viewer Non basically was like taking the L. So if these two guys who were pretty adamant about it most recently are like, all right, I'll take the L on this one. Maybe there's something there. I had no idea. I'm just calling it like I see it. All right. So anyway, so that happened yesterday. Like I said, this tweet got deleted and he was like, I don't want to like jump the gun. But then even today, you had Grace Randolph come out and say, basically the Flash movie will put the Snyderverse off to the side for Warner Brothers to exit. So should they choose sometime in the future. The Snyderverse is still largely removed from the DCEU with the changes I told you, re Keaton, Batman, Superman, Supergirl, etc. And this has kind of been like, even I'll say like Mikey Sutton has kind of said this a little bit, right? But this is where there's a lot of conflation where Mikey has been like, yeah, they're going to put it in a pocket universe. But the thing with that is though, is the intent there, the intent behind those scoops, the intent behind what the cult ultimately wants is to restore the Snyderverse, that it's going to be bringing everybody back. It's going to be continuing the storylines. That's what I and many other people have been saying is not going to happen for a multitude, a litany of reasons, predominantly about the budgets, about contracts, about like continuity, all this kind of stuff. However, what it kind of feels like now is that they're getting ready to gear up for something big. And it kind of also comes to us from MCU, or no, this is where we start hearing more about about Casey Walsh. So this is an article up on DC Direct, and they say Warner Brothers reportedly developing DCU or DCEU crisis event movie. Now that is the most fascinating thing here, because we remember from what was it, from DC Fandom, there was that little bit there with Jim Lee talking about Crisis, talking about Infinite Earths. The multiverse was a big thing that they talked about at the first Fandom, and they brought up Crisis on Infinite Earths through all those like collages of, comic book covers or whatever that were all meant to be one big image. And it kind of felt like that's what DC was going for. And it kind of felt that's what DC wanted to do. And I kind of believe that. I do actually believe it. I think they really wanted to go for that. So it kind of feels at this point, where what you've got is this is what's going on. So Casey Walsh of Geeks Worldwide, which is funny because he's no longer of Geeks Worldwide. He actually stepped down because his scooping was interfering with them getting screeners. So it's kind of funny that he's out there talking about this today. It's really weird. Anyway, it says here, Casey Walsh of Geeks Worldwide shared one of his old leaks on Twitter, hinting that Warner Brothers is planning a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie for the DC Extended Universe. Saying, so DC/Warner Brothers' plan is to build a Crisis on Infinite Earths event, if that wasn't obvious already. I think at this point with Flashpoint, we obviously know that that's what they're going for. That is not even really up for debate. What's up for debate is who the fuck is going to be in the movie. Who is going to be up in this Crisis event? How are they going to make it all work? What's going to happen? Well, Walsh did go on to talk a bit more about Ben Affleck, saying here, Batfleck is still very much done with the DCEU, but leaving the door open for him to come back during a Crisis event if he wants makes sense, but I'll take the L. And Casey is a very egotistical guy. So him saying, it was that, right, is kind of funny. So going on to say here, while Crisis is supposedly isn't part of the Flash movie, it sets up a possible Crisis event at the very end featuring Affleck's Batman. Saying here, the Flash sets up a Crisis on Infinite Earths inspired event at the end. This is the Batfleck scene that people are referencing. It sets up Crisis. So there was this kind of, because a lot of us thought he was going to die in the movie. It just makes sense. He's going to end out his character. And it's possible that has now been changed, right? A lot's going to happen. They could have, he could have originally signed on to end the character and then was like, you know what, we're just going to do this. We're just going to do this and have a good time and go from there. And then something else, popped up. Maybe they offered him something a little easier, right, than having to get all back in training and whatever. So, all right, if he wants, he can come back. At least they're leaving the door open. I'm okay with that. I have no problem with that. And I'll take the L on that too if he comes back. I have no problem taking an L on any of this stuff. I've been very open about that. Now, it goes on to say here, Walsh doesn't spoil the scene, but he did hint that it involves the Cape Crusader. Says, I'm not going to spoil it, but it involves Batman. And then he also goes on to say that the days of Zack Snyder sequels are done, although he thinks Warner Brothers will market The Flash to fans to think the opposite. Says, you're never getting direct Snyder sequels. Warner Brothers are going to make you think you all are, so you continue to buy in, like you've been doing with The Flash, and then they'll bring everybody back for a Crisis event and call it a win. That actually does sound a lot like Warner Brothers. It actually sounds a lot like Warner Brothers, because they've done this kind of crap before, right? They've done this mismarketing crap before. Sony's doing it right now with Morbius. They're really trying to use these ancillary Spider-Man adjacent films as a way to push this universe. And, they use like very kind of duplicitous marketing to get there. Rational here, thank you, buddy, says they already did a Crisis with Arrowverse, and Arrowverse is canon according to Berlanti, Hamada, Johns, unless they do a final Crisis with Darkseid. I don't know what they're going to do. I have no idea what they're going to do. I would honestly say that at this point, they don't know what they're going to do, because things have been changing. They've been changing so rapidly for years. We have literally no idea. And it's not going to be the merger. The merger ain't going to do shit. Look, Zaslav is a penny pincher. We've talked about this. So Ronaldo here says, according to Grace, there was a scene with Michael Keaton and Aquaman 2, but it was cut. My Time to Shine Hello says it's true. Also confirmed that Zod. Well, yeah, hold on. We're going to get to that. Yeah, that was the thing I saw from H. Barts earlier too. Yeah. So let's talk about let's talk about the Superman situation because it ties into the story as well. So over on Screen Geek, a guy named Frank Palmer here says exclusive. Sasha Calle Supergirl replacing Henry Cavill's Superman. This has been long speculated, right? This has been long speculated in regards to everything with Henry Cavill. Now, look, I know fans want him. I want him to 100%. One of the problems, though, like I've said, is the fact that when you're talking about Henry Cavill, he hasn't filmed anything since 2017. It's been 5 years since he shot anything as Superman. And he's busy with The Witcher and Argyle, Enola Holmes 2, probably in Enola Holmes 3, maybe a Mass Effect project. I don't know what else is going on. The dude, homeboy is busy right now. But Sasha Calle has signed on for quite a bit. So according to Screen Geek, they say here, Warner Brothers has been evolving their DCEU film franchise in a variety of interesting ways over the years. For example, they've been spending a lot of time expanding characters like those in Shazam, the Suicide Squad, and the Peacemaker television series, which is true. And Suicide Squad and Peacemaker have been able to find a very popular audience. They have done very well on HBO Max, which is why I think James Gunn is going to spend more time on HBO Max in those worlds. Additionally, this is what they said. According to our sources, newly cast Supergirl actress Sasha Calle is playing the Kara Danvers version of the character and will replace Superman actor Henry Cavill as the DCEU's last survivor of Krypton. In the new rebooted timeline, the Kryptonian villain Zod kills Cavill's Superman as a baby. Right? Like kills Cavill's Superman as a baby. Listen, if Warner Brothers is going to try to market this fucking movie as like a continuation of the Snyderverse to an extent, and they go to a universe where Henry Cavill's Superman was like hucked off a freaking hill like the babies in the opening of 300, do you not think people out there are going to freak the ever-loving shit out, man? Like, that's the whole damn point. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts. It's like, okay, I don't know. I have to, like, I'm not, I think it's such a terrible idea, but I get it, I get it for what they want to do. Now it's not currently clear what Warner Brothers has planned for these characters beyond this point, but it sounds as though Henry Cavill will no longer be involved at all with the DC film universe as Superman. As such, fans should be prepared for Sasha Calle to take on the mantle as Supergirl. The actress is set to appear in the new Flash movie, the same film that will introduce Michael Keaton as Batman. Will reintroduce him as Batman. The movie will explore the concept of alternate timelines and as a result, reboot the DC film universe. Again, that's kind of the whole point here, right? Reboot the universe. A lot of people have trouble with that term. Now, Barbara Muschietti, if I recall correctly, she had said something online that this movie will not erase the past. It will honor, like, it's going to honor the past, but it's going to move to the future. Meaning, yeah, they're going to, you know what, it's going to all go, it's going to go, you know, it's going to go crazy. They're going to move it to its own little side universe. It's going to stay over there. And probably, like, unless Affleck comes back, probably not going to be a thing. Like, Wonder Woman 3 is going to be set in whatever continuity they're in now. Aquaman 2 might be set in that continuity, right? They might just completely move away from that, because if Justice League is a continuity that they're going with, then those two movies are going to fall into there. I don't freaking know. H-Bart's here for $2 says, if anything, Danny Garcia cost Henry his role. I believe that as well, buddy. I believe that as well. I know people out there want to disagree with me 100%, but that's what I'm thinking. That's what I believe. Rational here for $2. Thank you, man. Says, small screen said Cavill is coming back. Well, yeah, Mikey Sutton has also said that they're coming back, right? Like, that's kind of the whole thing. Mikey said that, they've said that, you know what? And they're all friends, by the way. Like, the same guy who webmasters Small Screen, webmasters Geekosity Mag, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, there's connectivity there. And again, I'm not knocking it. I know the webmaster, he's a good guy. You know, so I'm just saying, like, I don't quite know. All right. And also there's an article here from March 17th from Small Screen. I'm looking at real quick. This says Henry Cavill could return as Superman. Not that he is returning, that he could return. And that the report comes from, giant freaking robot. So there's that. Think about that for a second, right? Anthony here asks why Warner Brothers hasn't called Brandon Routh to come back to play Superman if Henry Cavill is busy. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what it is, man? It's entirely possible that like Superman Returns did such a bad thing for the franchise that when they cast him as Ray Palmer, right? Adam, and he did such a great job in that role. And he was very well loved as a fan favorite. I know they brought him back as Kingdom Come Superman for the Crisis, stuff. And I'm sure he would in a heartbeat come back. And I think at this point, it's been 16 years since that movie came out. I have a feeling fans would very much embrace him to come back, if you want my honest opinion. All right. Like that's the whole thing. Now, Anthony, I finally, something we agree on. I'm just glad Matt Reeves gets to have his universe separate from all this, which is very true. They did rational. Well, I'm looking up on their website right now. That's the last article. That's the last article that I'm seeing up on there, like about that. Right. They even say in this article here, is this confirmed? No, it's not. So, that's what it is, man. It's like, it's not confirmed yet. I'm sorry. Like, look, man, Edward from Small Screen is a good guy. I like Edward quite a bit. I think we've chit-chatted a number of times. I think he's a cool dude. No issue with him whatsoever. I don't think he's trying to like mislead or lie to people. That of course is like the Sill camp. That's what they're doing. They're misleading and lying to people. As I showed you guys last night, Sill's, thinks Zack Snyder won 2 Oscars. It's kind of ridiculous. Anyway, Philosophical Pickle here says, I'm okay with the shitty Snyderverse being an Elseworld story, but not the main timeline. They can definitely have 2 or 3 different universes existing at the same time so they can tell diverse stories. Here's the thing with that though. Where do you put those different universes and how do you market them differently in order to not confuse your audience, right? Like the Super Bowl ad for DC that had like, the world needs heroes like Batman, Black Adam, Flash, and Shazam. They had that, which was cool, except the problem, and Aquaman, it wasn't Shazam, it was Aquaman. But the problem with that was, again, 3 of those films are part of the same overall universe. One of those movies is not. They're marketed like they are. And the audience, because of Marvel and the proliferation and popularity of Marvel, people are going to believe that they're all connected because, well, Marvel's connected. Why isn't DC connected? Because people are dumb and they don't read this shit. They don't live this shit like we do. That's kind of the whole point, right? That's kind of the whole point. Let's see here. Okay. Well, this article that you sent me here is from January 5th. All right. So, obviously at this point, if January 5th they're saying that he's in deep negotiation, and on March 4th, they're running a competing article from Giant Freaking Robot saying that he could be back because this is what they're saying, all I'm saying is like, now, okay, hold on. This is the article that they have up from a couple days ago. We were told a while back that Cavill and Warner Brothers were in deep Superman talks. Now we weren't told how those talks ended up going. But if Giant Freaking Robot's report is to be taken at face value, then it would seem, though, as some sort of agreement has been reached between the 2 parties. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Again, if he pops up, it's cool, man. But if the scoopers are all coming out and they're basically saying Sasha Kale is it, I don't know. I do not know. And here's the thing with that too, guys. Here's the thing with that too. It is okay. It is okay to say that I don't know. It's one of those things. I look to see what the trades say. I look to see what the actors say. I try to read between the lines. I try to look at all the available information. That's what I try to do. But the thing is, though, it doesn't always work because things are fluid. Hollywood is fluid. Things change all the damn time. Rational here says, why won't Warner Brothers just tell us who's Superman in the DCEU? How hard is that? My theory on it is this. My theory is that they're not telling us that is who the Superman is because they want to keep us guessing, because they want to keep us engaged. And again, it's the whole point of kind of mismarketing it to you so that when the time comes, you will see people, go on in and, like that's kind of the whole point. You'll see people go on in and see these movies because they're intrigued to do so. It's almost like duplicitous marketing, if I'm being honest with you. That's again kind of how I view it. So there is that on that one right there. Yes. Anyway, let me see here. All right. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Okay, so we're at 1 hour and 21 minutes. We're going to wrap up in about the next, we'll go for about another 10 minutes or whatever. We'll chit chat with you guys, see what's going on here. Ronaldo here says, I definitely won't be on Twitter when The Flash comes out. Dude, anything in The Flash is going to get spoiled before the movie even comes out. I wouldn't even worry about it. You're going to have that movie spoiled anyway. James here says, and they don't want to piss off the Snyder fans. I mean, look, I think they realize that the Snyder fans are like a force to be reckoned with, if you want my honest opinion. I think they get that. I really do. The big problem though, is that like eventually, it's become very toxic. It's become very disgusting, very, very bigoted, very misogynistic, very sexist, very racist in some instances, very, very toxic. And that's the whole point, is that they know that the people who watch all this stuff, they're fully aware of the engagement from the fan base. That's the whole other point of this. If you guys remember, they actually had, gone back and, what is it? He's like, they remember like that one analytical company that had talked about, what was it? They had talked about, oh, Jesus Christ, I can think here. Right. All the social media impressions for Zack Snyder's Justice League. And it was like 34.7 billion social media impressions, right? And everyone's like losing their mind over that. They're all losing their shit. They're freaking out. They're like, oh my God, oh no, you guys. What? That's what they're doing. They're freaking out over that. Like they're losing their goddamn shit. And the whole point of the whole hilarity behind that was the fact that like they lost all their mind over it, and it still never yielded like anything. Because if you look at it, right, what did it say? It said 1.5 million new followers. That's no small amount of number, by the way. But extrapolate that against 34.7 billion impressions. It just means that was like out of everything. That was a lot of stuff. The Snyder fan base is very organized at mass spamming, which is how they won the Twitter Cheer Award. All right. It's how Army of the Dead won. Because, I mean, it's like Camilo Cabello's people came on in hard, and so, good on. Hey, listen, I'd much rather go that very pointless award go to fucking Army of the Dead over Cinderella on Amazon, Anyway, DC created those fans. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you referring to like, oh, it's their own fault, I guess. Okay. It kind of is. Yeah, sure. Ben's in here for £5 says, trying to downplay Ezra Miller's criminal action because you are so desperate to interview the guy with a good heart on your show and accountability, less than, entertainment, or greater than. Sorry. I can't think right now. Yeah, I know, man. We talked about that a little bit earlier too. I was making fun of that a bit. That's kind of the whole thing. That's kind of the whole thing with that is just, yeah, Ezra Miller has problems, and downplaying and trying to victim blame is definitely not a good idea. So there's definitely that. All right, here. Thank you for that, Benson. James here says, I got my Snyder cut. I'm good. Warner Brothers can do whatever. Warner Brothers is dumb though. Well, they are dumb. Yeah, they are dumb. They totally don't. They don't get the concept of investment. I think that's kind of the issue is, whereas Marvel sees investment at every fucking area. And honestly, I think again, the way James Gunn is kind of coming, he's going to migrate over to DC from Marvel, simply because I believe of the creative freedom they'll grant him. We're going to see a fair amount out of that. We're going to see like a lot of, I think a lot of investment in some of these properties. And I think James Gunn is going to lead the pack on that, because I know the cult says that the Batman was an unmitigated financial disaster. You'll see those hot takes floating around. You'll see them say that Peacemaker wasn't popular, that Peacemaker was a trash show, that Peacemaker was disgusting. All of these things you'll hear them say, right? You'll have them come out yesterday and try to defame and attack Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz and Jeffrey Wright, which, by the way, there's an update on that Jeffrey Wright stuff. It's really fucking funny, and we'll get to that tomorrow because I just want to have more information to show you guys. And then not only that, if you think about it, it's but they're out there going like, all right, let's support Ben Affleck, who, as I showed yesterday, there's been multiple allegations of groping on the Ben Affleck from 20 years ago. They're out there, Mercury, for example, tonight went to go see Morbius in theaters, right? He went to an early screening of Morbius and was kind of bragging about it. When Jared Leto has been accused of a couple things. Running a cult is one of the things he's been accused of. I'm pretty sure some kind of weird sex stuff he's been accused of. The same kind of shit that they were going after Zoe Kravitz for, the same kind of crap they were trying to, use against her and use against Robert Pattinson and Jeffrey Wright, all of this information, all of this misconstrued hyperbole. But yet when it's their friends, or when it's their people, when it's their camp, when it's their tribe, they have absolutely zero issue saying a fucking thing about it. Right? That's the fucking hypocrisy. That's the bullshit, you guys. That's the whole thing. So anyway, let's see here. The Flicks Picks and the Nitpicks LLC says there's a lot of fake people in the fandom that start facts, but make no mistake, this truly started by anti-Snyder fans and MCU fanatics and grifters on both sides stirring the pot for views. It is what it is. That's bullshit, dude. Dude, you can't sit there and say that like it's anti-Snyder fans. It's people that are just like, I don't like what Zack Snyder did. And then it's not that they're anti-Snyder fans. They're just like, you'll oftentimes hear them say, I like Zack Snyder, I just didn't like his comic book movies. You'll hear them say that. Or they'll just have a point and then the Snyder fandom gets all fucking butthurt. And then they go on the warpath because they want to destroy anyone who speaks out, man. That's the thing I love about the pro-Snyder people. Like, I love dude. I think he's a nice guy. He makes good movies. I fucking like him. But his fan base treats him like he's fucking God. His fan base treats him like he is a deity, like he is a pariah, or he is the Messiah. And anywhere he goes is, and commands them and shit. And that's the reality of it. That's the reality of it, dude. These people that are like, they have daddy issues out the ass. They want Zach to hold them, to hug them, to cuddle with them, and to tell them everything's going to be okay. Daddy's here, Zaddy's here, and he's going to give you, he's going to give you your Batman. That's kind of the whole point. Right? That's kind of the whole point. No, anti-Snyders, dude, nah, fuck that shit, man. Anti-Snyders are like maybe a small amount of people. All right? A small amount of people on Twitter. But dude, those motherfuckers, man, like that's bullshit. And it's bullshit. All right? Like, it's bullshit. Anti-Snyder fans are fucking insane sometimes, man. Like, or no, that's not the anti-Snyders. It's the fucking Snyder fans. There's a reason why people people are leaving the fandom, and they're like, I can't take it anymore. I'm tired of the bull. If I don't follow lockstep in line, I get bombarded. I've been called a pedophile. I've been called all these things that I'm not. And you know what? It's like, nah, no one cares that they smear me. But God forbid I make a fucking joke. Oh, that's okay to come after me then. But Jesus, oof, that's the whole point. Protoss here says anti-Snyder fans are just casual moviegoers. I mean, not all of them, but I'd say a fair amount. Geeks here says I left the fandom for good because it's getting toxic 100%, man. So, let's see. There's weirdos on both sides, my dude. Mad videos on YouTube hating on Snyder. No BS. I'm not saying that there aren't people out there who aren't going to like, you dislike Snyder. All right. But what I mean is like, look on Twitter, man. I'm talking about Twitter. Look on Twitter. That's what I'm saying. Check that out. But all right, guys, we'll take a couple more quick questions. Let's see here. All right. Okay. Hold on. What's this one? Okay. No, I'm just not gonna. Okay. So, all right. I'm having issues with the voicemail line tonight. It's not, for some reason, stuff is coming in really, really, really low, or people are just calling in really, really low. Because I can't adjust the volume on this part. So you guys are gonna have to call in real low, or call in and speak loud. All right, let's see. Rational here says, how much you want to bet if Man of Steel 2 were announced tomorrow? Grace, Casey Walsh, and others would already tell you what the plot and enemies are as scoops, even though they're first seeing more Cavill. Probably, man. Probably. I mean, if Man of Steel 2 was announced tomorrow, I'd be very happy regardless, right? Right. So, no, I remember people attacking Man of Steel back in the day. I actually put out a video before I saw Man of Steel saying like Superman is a boring ass character. Because I think in general Superman is a boring ass character. I really do. But I like the character, but he's boring. He's white bread. He's like plain Cheerios and unsweetened, like vanilla, like unsweetened almond milk, just bland. But, with the right characterization, he can be interesting. And I think that's what Zack Snyder did. The deconstruction worked for me, But I think a lot of people have come around to that too. I think it's like you're also going back to 2013, 9 years ago. And you're trying to like argue that that's something that's relevant today when it's not. Anthony here, that's bullshit, dude. Fuck off, man. I can't really say one side is less toxic when others, no, but again, nah, Jesus Christ. I love this. Again, justification, whataboutism. It's a whole bunch of shit. Yes, I agree with you. Snyder made Superman interesting. Yes, I absolutely agree. HWAD here says, Man of Steel got me to like Superman. Yeah. Jess here says, that's why we want evil Superman. I also agree. I think evil Superman is the most interesting. I think it has a lot to do, and my personal take on that is that Superman is effectively looked at as a god. So I think, I don't believe in God. So, there we go. I'm just saying that's so fighting God is something that I'm interested in. Let's see. Matt is right. Some Snyder fans take it too far. Yeah. How many people have been, and like, I don't even like the term anti-Snyder fan. I don't think that's even really a thing. It's like Snyder fans will attack anyone who disagrees relentlessly. It's a cult, dude. I think anything else other than that is just that. Gnomes, Rockstars, Snyder made Superman awful. I disagree. But yeah, you can have your opinion. I disagree, though. There we go on that one. But all right, guys, we're rocking. It is 11:20. I've got to get to bed. I got to be up early to go to the car dealership for my girlfriend's car tomorrow. Oh yeah, here's the thing. Quick little PSA for everybody. If you order anything online, make sure that you actually type in the right address or double check it if you use autofill, because I was ordering something from New York the other day. I ordered a new microphone for my phone, and it was like $100 microphone for my phone. And they sent it to my old house in San Diego. Now, thankfully, I know who bought the house. So I was able to reach out to them, and they're going to like send it back to me, which is great. But just be very careful. I'm very pissed about that. So be very careful about that. And keep that in mind. But anyway, guys, I'll be on tomorrow night for another episode of Hollywood After Dark. Again, I thank everybody for coming on. We agree, we disagree. It's all good. We have a good time here. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great night, and peace the hell out.